Hey guys, I'm sure you're all wondering what happened with the channel over the past couple weeks and why I changed from Whiyu to Vars or Vars Verum. And I first want to start by apologizing about how sudden it was, with the only announcement I think before being that I was going through some rebranding. Those of you who watched me since before 2017, you'll know that this isn't exactly the first time that I made a name change, and while the transition from Smartboard to Whiyu carried a lot more, I guess, personal sentimental impact, the switch from Whiyu to Vars was more to kind of just deal with the personal irk I've had for a while. So when I was creating this channel, I really didn't know what kind of moniker I wanted to have for myself, because the story of Smartboard was that I basically talked a person out of a fatal life decision, and they told me a joke about how I was a pretty smart person who was also really bored because I had the time to talk to this guy for like 3 hours, this person I never met. And it was sort of a pun off of this smart board educational device you see in a lot of like middle and high schools. There was a sort of sentimental value I had with that name because it was based off of a really fond memory I had. But Whiyu was a pretty shoehorn name, I'm not gonna lie. In fact, how I got it, I was going for a walk in my campus, and I'm a rising senior at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and they have this really nice and peaceful campus on top of a large hill. It overlooks Troy, New York. And on that walk, I started whistling. It was about like 12 a.m. midnight. I think I was going for a late night walk because I couldn't sleep. So the only thing I was hearing, besides just the ambient nighttime sounds, was my whistling. And it sounds sort of like... Yeah, I know, it's pretty dumb. See, one thing that I didn't like about Smartboard that kind of carried over to Whiyu was that no one knew how to spell Smartboard, because everyone kept thinking that it was smart board, as in like the educational device, and no one really knew how to pronounce Whiyu either. In fact, I got a lot more people who said Whiyu, and it kind of drove me a little nuts. Also, a lot of people believe that I got the name from the Nintendo Wii U, and that had nothing to do with it. So yeah, you know, I just wasn't really too particularly fond of the fact that my name was being confused with something else. Overall, though, Whiyu, while it sounds a little cute, it didn't really just feel like a good name that I would carry over for the rest of my YouTube career. So I was thinking about rebranding for a while, since about like January or so, and I was trying to think of something that sounds nice to say, that's easy to pronounce, and doesn't have any ties to anything or can't really be confused with anything. And the alias I came up with is Vars Verum, or Vars, and there's a meaning behind this one, similar to Smartboard. So I really like things that are of Latin origin, because Latin's a really cool language. I don't like study it or try to speak it, but I love the etymology behind a lot of names when it comes to fantasy and stuff like that being derived off of Latin origin. And Verum is Latin for truth. And there's this one phrase, I think like in vino veritas or something like that, in wine comes truth, or basically it's saying that, you know, a drunk mind speaks a sober heart or something like that. But Verum also means truth. And Vars is short for a variation, although someone said that like they thought that Vars was like the button on the calculator that you never press, and I'm like, oh jeez, but I hope it's not that egregious. But putting together, you have Vars Verum, or varying truth. And the reason I like this name so much is because one of my favorite quotes of all time, which speaks a lot about life, is that the truth is a matter of circumstance. It's not all things to all people all the time. Neither am I. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys know where that's from. I'd be pretty surprised. But as you know, in the real world, and including with people, things are not always true. Not necessarily because people are lying or things are being twisted or being fed misinformation. It's just that it all depends on the time and place, factors involved, circumstance, and all that. That's never just one piece of truth applies to the whole scenario. It's got a deep meaning to it, and I just also like how Vars sounds. It rolls off the tongue. It's also my Smash Ultimate gamer tag whenever I attend like a locals or something, you know? Anyways, that's about it. Really sloppy commentary, but I kind of went a little off script just because I wanted to clear the air. There were a lot of people who were asking me still why the name changed and stuff like that, so I figured good idea to make a video on it. Sorry again for completely blindsiding you guys on it. I'm still the same old Jinli you know from yesterday, don't worry. But hope you guys can still continue watching my content, and for now, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon in the next video. Take care.